Friday, December the 6th edition of the Carolina Weather Video, and boy do we have a lot to talk about. Let's get right into it. It was a pretty balmy day by December standards yesterday, and just wait till you see the numbers today when we'll have mid-70s, even some upper 70s, and a few low 80s down in southern areas across the Carolinas today, so a very, very warm day. Currently, these are 5:30 a.m. temperatures. Unbelievably warm. It honestly has the feel of a summertime morning out there, with temperatures in the 60s, high dew points, very breezy conditions as well. On the radar, some rain up in the mountains and parts of the foothills, and really the mountains will be where most of the rain occurs during the day today with our incoming front here in the Carolinas. What a messy, messy storm system. Let me take you through it. Just take a quick spin around the radar. You have rain, then transitioning to ice and snow, all the way from the northeast through the Ohio Valley. And then it really gets messy here in parts of Arkansas, southeastern Missouri, southeastern Oklahoma, and down into Texas, where a pretty significant ice storm, in fact, even a crippling ice storm in some spots, is underway. Now, watch the temperature differences with this front. Again, we're very warm ahead of the front. You have Montgomery at 72, New Orleans at 73, but Natchez at 43, 37 in Tupelo, and just some brutally, brutally cold air across many locations in the plains and the Rockies as this Arctic air continues to engulf the eastern parts of the country. The ice storm will continue in some of those areas I mentioned, Arkansas, western Tennessee, the Missouri Boot Hill, and that system is gradually translating eastward into our area. So here's kind of the overview, and I'll get into some of the modeling specifics in just a moment, but today will be just ahead of the front across the Carolinas. It'll be a very warm day. Some record high temperatures will be challenged, and then the front moves in tonight. We'll have some rain spread in, especially after midnight tonight, and continue into at least tomorrow morning. It's looking like many locations in North Carolina, away from the coast, will be dry by tomorrow afternoon. But there's that Arctic high pressure. By Sunday morning, it's over the northeastern U.S. in a very favorable position for cold air damming. And as you get the next wave of precipitation moving in, it's looking increasingly likely that it will involve a period of freezing rain, and in the foothills, certainly, in the mountains. And in some Piedmont spots, it's looking more and more likely. Look at the temperatures here. Now, this is the RPM model. And here we are about 6 o'clock in the morning Sunday. You're looking at sub-freezing temperatures in Greensboro and Hickory. And as you go through the day Sunday, you notice Charlotte even getting down to freezing. Hickory staying below freezing. Greensboro staying below freezing. Mount Airy staying below freezing. Raleigh just above. And so you get this next wave of precipitation move in. This is what it looks like on Stormcast or the RPM modeling, and it brings a very healthy wave of precipitation through Sunday. Now, that is one of the differences amongst the models. The NAM especially is really scaled back on the precipitation amounts. In fact, the latest NAM, the 6Z run, is not much more than some drizzle across much of North Carolina. But it's a far different story there on the RPM. In fact, you have some foothill spots that pick up over 1 inch of QPF. Sunday. And so here's the deal. This is what the RPM model prints out for ice accumulation amounts. And this model runs out overnight Sunday night. That's the end of the model run. And so you're looking at that purple shading being a 1/4 inch of ice right on down to I-40, and you get it back into the foothills, Wilkes, and Surry County. It's a damaging ice storm, again, on the RPM. Even a little bit of glazing all the way down to Interstate 85. On the RPM. But check out the GFS. It is a much different story. Just a minor nuisance glazing, even up in the northern foothills. And the reason? Less precipitation and a little bit of a warmer setup. The Canadian really agrees very nicely with the RPM, and I'll show you that in just a second. Winter Storm Watch has been hoisted for the mountains, at least some mountain spots. And over into Wilkes County, Yadkin County, Surry County, and across the Virginia border areas north of the Triad. And then on up into Virginia, of course. That is, again, a winter storm watch for Sunday. Now here's the Canadian model. These are surface temperatures, and this is Sunday evening. And you still have sub-freezing air across much of northwestern North Carolina. And so here's what it looks like on those precipitation contours. And this is valid... this would be late morning Sunday. The red shading kind of is what to key on here. That's the ice. You get out to Sunday evening freezing rain over a good chunk of North Carolina, I-85 and points north, and then even on into, this is around daybreak Monday. You still have sub-freezing air holding on in the northern foothills and the northwest Piedmont. And so again, the Canadian is in pretty good agreement with the RPM modeling. Now, in contrast to that, that is the European model. Doesn't really get the freezing line much down further south than the Virginia border areas in the northernmost foothills. And the GFS, I'm sorry, the NAM, I just wanted to show you the NAM, and it's not as cold as recent runs, mainly due to lack of precipitation, kind of locking in that wedge. And so, again, the NAM's kind of gone with a very, very light precipitation scenario now. And finally, there's the GFS. I tell you, though, I looked at some of the 0Z soundings in Buffgett, and for Winston-Salem, it does get a pretty significant period of freezing rain on the Buffgett soundings. So the bottom line, that's what the HPC has officially put out for their probabilities of a 1/4 inch of ice, and we'll see how they adjust that as we go forward. The bottom line here is, let me get a better chart where I can kind of illustrate. Okay, I think you're looking at Sunday, a period of some freezing rain, even a possibility all the way down to I-85 and maybe even in a few locations in the upstate of South Carolina. But the significant ice accumulations, probably I-40 and points north, and especially from, say, parts of the Triad area on up through the northern foothills and up into the Virginias. And we'll just have to see. And there's still a lot of question marks in terms of how much precipitation will fall. And, of course, that has a direct relationship in this type of scenario with how cold the air mass will wind up being. So a lot of question marks here, but the potential is there for a significant ice event over parts of the foothills and into parts of the northwest Piedmont. This is definitely going to be something to keep an eye on as we near Sunday. All right, that is it for today. Thank you for watching. Have a great day and a great weekend, and God bless.